If you don't know what the guests are looking for in a short-term rental, you might be buying the wrong asset.
What's the single most expensive question a buyer can get wrong when it comes to dealing with these different jurisdictions and counties?
When you're selling or buying a short-term rental, you're not buying only a home or selling a home. You're selling the first and foremost a business.
You've got a background in software engineering,
That's
right?
correct.
And in the military. How does that background show up in how you built the brokerage?
In the military, you learn not to give up. And that's, I think, in my main life philosophy is I would never give up.
When someone buys, what does the real compliance calendar look like for an owner who just bought a short-term rental?
People not understanding maximum occupancy. It's totally different for every county.
Welcome back. Today I'm sitting down again with Murat Gocmen. Murat is a short-term rental expert in Lake Tahoe. He manages he owns a short-term rental management company, but he also helps people buy and sell short-term rentals knowledgeably with proper data. And so today we're going to give an update on where short-term rentals stand within the Tahoe market, but we're also going to talk about Murat's new brokerage that he opened to help clients have a better real estate experience. So Murat, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. So the big announcement, you opened a brokerage. Since we last talked, you hadn't done this yet. You were still with Chase. Tell everyone what Estate Tahoe is and why you launched it.
Yeah. So again, my name is Murat Gocmen. I am the broker and the owner of the Estate Tahoe. And also I own the vacation rental management company called MG Vacation Rentals. So the number one reason is what I see in the industry is, and it's coming from a different place where I wanted to launch this brokerage, is there is a lot of fees associated with the transaction of a real estate buy or sell. So, and for example, there's a technology fees, there's
Are you talking about fees for agents or for?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Like fees for agents. Like, if the agent closed the deal, the brokerage takes split plus some amount of percentage of tech fee plus insurance fee plus some monthly another fee that I cannot rename those. I don't think that's, in my opinion, that's the right way to do it. So I opened my brokerage and my partner, Christina Matson from Chase, got, on board with us. And we would like to get the brokerage to a place where agents split is a split. There's no other fee in terms of technology fee, this fee, that fee, or anything like that. And with the innovation of AI in how you can build websites that easy, I think this is the right time and right place to do it. That's what we opened our brokerage for.
You're going to help reduce the fees for agents, which is great. You already had a successful vacation rental management company. Why? I mean, I know you just touched on why, but what was the moment you decided hey, I've got to do this myself?
Number one, if you own the vacation rental data, but you don't own the brokerage, you don't control the real estate transaction side. And that was the number one thing. And I wanted to control the transaction side. And I want this to be a seamless for my buyers and my sellers, to make sure that they're getting the whole big picture of, okay, this is how much is your home worth, but you're not just selling a home only. It's more like if you're selling a short-term rental, you have to think that as more like a business, how you're going to sell this business.
Mm-hmm. Did you see, were there real stories of clients being, there was a gap in the data that you had in the data that brokerages have? Did you see clients getting hurt by that gap in knowledge?
Absolutely. So a real estate agent who's not involved with short-term rentals is presenting a short-term rental, listing the short-term rental, that's a detrimental, right?
Yep.
Because the realtor doesn't know how to evaluate that short-term rental performance. You can write, I see a lot of listing descriptions in the MLS, and it says 110 gross revenue. that's not really gross. They're including the TOT taxes, they're including cleaning fees, all that stuff. So there is no standardized things. But some people say, oh, $30,000 in net. That's not really the net. So that's why I see that gap and I wanted to fill in that gap. On the buyer side, it's the same thing, right? If somebody says to you, this house makes $110,000 in gross revenue, you would think that you would pocket, except after the expenses, you would pocket that much. But what the expenses means for that buyer.
Yeah, they're different than what the previous buyer had.
Yes, that's correct. So that's the reason we opened up the brokerage to serve, being able to serve short-term rentals, but in general, in the Incline or Tahoe or greater Reno market, we want to make sure that agents are being the number one key player, not the brokerage, not the software. The agents are being appreciated, and the agents are getting their money without paying extra fees.
Yeah, no nickel and diming on the fees, which is good. You've got a background in software engineering,
That's
right?
correct.
And in the military. How does that background show up in how you built the brokerage?
So a couple things. In the military, you learn not to give up. And that's, I think, in my main life philosophy is I would never give up. I might wait for the right time, but I would never give up to be something successful. And that's the number one thing that I get from the military side. But on the realtor side, I think I'm on the software engineering side, I can see the workflows and I can see the systems, how they interact with each other. And when you're building a brokerage website, it's very important. So that's why those two connect with how we do the brokerage in that regard.
Okay. So to distill it all down, I mean, there's no shortage of real estate agents in Tahoe, right? What does Real Estate Tahoe, your brokerage, do that the brokerage down the street simply can't do?
So number one thing, and I said, we talked about the fees, all that stuff. Number one thing I think that's different for us is the fact that the realtors doesn't have to go 10 different websites. Everything is in one place. Everything.
So you're talking about CRM,
MLS, writing an offer, sending it to the messages, everything in one place. And that's what I've been building for the last 9 months. So when they come here, they will see an amalgamation of 6 or 7 products they have been using, but they're under one umbrella. So we are trying to make it efficient for the agent, meaning agent's role is making a genuine connection with their buyer and the client, not waiting for the right offers for 30 minutes or 40 minutes. The offers that in our brokerage as a benchmark is less than 2 minutes. You should be able to write the offers in less than 2 minutes. And we're right now establishing that.
That's great. So let's talk about short-term rentals specifically. You manage and sell them. Why does owning both sides of that, both the management and the sales side of short-term rentals, matter so much to a buyer? And there's a lot of people wanting to buy short-term rentals, right? You've got the tax advantages that are currently in play. Being able to use one in Tahoe is amazing. We live here. We know how amazing the life is up here. People want to be here. So why does both management and the sales of short-term rental, combining those, matter so much to a buyer?
I think these are great questions. Here's why. I'll tell you. Because you can buy a short-term rental and no problem. But if you don't know what the guests are looking for in a short-term rental, you might be buying the wrong asset. You might like it to your position, meaning that we're reverse engineering what matters to the guests,
to the market.
So you will get high reviews. Therefore, your house will display on Airbnb or VRBO in a higher search listings. So with that said, I will give you a couple of examples that you understand. For example, the layout is very important. A layout where it opens up to the living room, dining room is much better than a 3-story home. Because people are looking to that. I can give you more examples about this, right? But this is why the sales in the vacation rental management is important because we're combining two where I feel like we are responsible in the real estate. Like, for example, let's say you have a real estate agent and a vacation rental management company, totally different.
Yeah.
Real estate agent wants you to sell the home, and vacation rental management company wants to operate the home. Guess what happens?
They don't work together very
They
well.
don't. And what happens when they don't work together?
It just hurts the buyer, the seller. And,
It hurts the buyer because of the fact that one wants to sell. After selling, the other one wants to manage the property. You can see that the gross revenue numbers projections are going up, but it doesn't make sense. And then you go into this, it hurts the buyers. That's why we did this.
Yeah. Okay. And I know being on the management side, you're on the front lines. You see what people complain about, what people like, what people destroy or take care of, or what people search for in a proper home, all those things, which is impossible to see unless you are managing it or you own a short-term rental yourself.
Correct.
And you manage yourself.
Yes.
I mean, how do you, and like you said, a lot of listings sell projected numbers, right? How do you, and you sell with booking history and data. Mm-hmm. Walk us through what that looks like for a buyer on a real listing. How do you analyze that for them?
So we manage 50 properties and the data is coming. Of course, we have a website, realestatetahoo.com, and it gives you the projections, but only gives you the projections. And it doesn't give you how much it can make. And when the buyer comes to us and when they decide on the house, we go deep into, extrapolation about the homes, how much it can make based on the data that we have. We have, if we know that there's 3 homes in that area that we manage, we will be able to give you probably at the 90% certainty that how much it's going to make.
Right.
Like
there'll be some deviation there.
Of course. If you go to the big sites like AirDNA and Rabu, they're technically doing a statistics, right? They're saying that this might be a reservation because they're not getting the numbers from OTAs, right? OTAs meaning that Airbnb, they're just scraping the websites to make up a number. But ours is not like that. We do have the actual numbers in our system, so we can give you with the certainty that you're going to make this much.
Yeah, I just rescued a DSCR loan. Here in Incline, and I was going to do it as a short-term rental DSCR loan. I thought that's how the numbers were going to work best. I went to AirDNA, and it was only. This is an almost $2 million house, and it was only giving $75,000 in revenue. I was mind blown. I was like, it's got lake views. It's got, I mean, like, this is not right. Hey, this is crazy. So the long-term rents actually ended up being way more than the short-term rental.
You can rent that house at least.
Now, that just goes to show you, typically it's the other side, right? They'll give you projections that are too high, what have you. But that just goes to show that the data is not clean. It's not very accurate, especially if there's a lake view involved. AirDNA, there's no one there. They have no idea. Yes. Yeah, they like there's no one with boots on the ground saying, "Hey, this should actually be this number because there's all these intangibles like a garage, lake view, blah 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 blah."
Yes. So, or the layout. The layout does affect that too. Right. Like we have a $2 million home, lake view, and guess what? It's making $150,000 net.
Wow.
So these are the things that AirDNA or Rabu.
It's the intangibles that you
you cannot measure. Only the boots on the ground can measure.
Right. You have to see it with your own eyes.
Correct.
All right. So let's talk about the different jurisdictions around Tahoe. There's 5 different counties. Each county's got different short-term rental permitting guidelines, restrictions, processes, all that. You built a native app.
Correct.
For Real Estate Tahoe, and you put it on the website. Correct. What does it actually do for someone thinking about buying?
Absolutely. This is the number one question that I got all the time from the buyers. Can I do short-term rental in South Lake Tahoe? Depends, right? And I'm sick and tired of explaining the same question over and over again. And we put together a realestatetahoo.com app where it shows the jurisdictions, meaning that, some people doesn't realize this. Short-term rental jurisdictions are different than your own, county jurisdictions. Okay, I want to say this because most people, it's in Truckee. Well, it's in Truckee.
Placer
the address
County.
is Truckee, but it's in Placer County. right? It's not town of Truckee. So for the general public, I want to make sure that there's 7 jurisdictions around Tahoe Basin. And then I can name them: Placer County, Washoe County, El Dorado County, South Lake Tahoe, Tourist Corridor in South Lake Tahoe, Douglas County, and town of Truckee. Mm-hmm. Okay. And there's one, it's called Nevada County in California.
Yep.
Okay. And this is all in our website. You can see from the most restrictive to all the way to less restrictive. So that's what we put. If you click on a listing on the native app, Real Estate Tahoe, or in our website, realestatetahoe.com, you will be able to see literally, jurisdiction and if it is allowed or not.
That's
you will
cool.
get a clear answer.
That's cool.
It's not maybe. It's a yes or no.
And they don't have to come talk to you.
Yes. Don't come and talk to me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So, you've got all these different counties. You got the jurisdictions, right? What's the single most expensive question a buyer can get wrong when it comes to dealing with these different jurisdictions and counties?
Sure. The number one is they go to a county where it's not allowed.
They buy.
They buy in a county
thinking they're going to be able to rent. Yeah.
And sometimes it's literally maybe 150 feet. So there is in the Placer County, there's a McKinney Shores, literally 150 feet to the left is El Dorado County. You cannot do short-term rentals. And somebody bought there. They didn't know it wasn't El Dorado County until they go into contract, and then they said, no, we cannot. I said, yeah, you can't. So again, I will come back to this. That's the most single failure that they can do. Yeah. And sometimes, as you know, the city goes Tahoma, right? Yeah. But Tahoma has some parts in Placer County.
Right.
And while you're thinking that, Tahoma, forget it. It's not going to be short-term rental. But we had a purchase that's in Tahoma. Nobody knew, literally on the border.
Right.
And we bought it for the cheap $650,000.
Yep. That was the one that we did together.
That's correct.
Yeah. I know you talked about what someone can do on the app. That's great. Permit caps, transferability, occupancy limits, parking requirements, noise and neighbor rules. Which of these trip people up most often out of all the actual property regulations?
Yes. Here's the number one tips that gives people not understanding: maximum occupancy. It's totally different for every county. Okay. I'll give you an example. Placer County, 12 years old and older doesn't count to the occupancy.
Placer County. So if the house is 12 years old or older?
No, the guest is 12 years and older.
Okay.
Then it doesn't
count towards the occupancy number. Got it.
So,
okay.
but the funny thing is, most people go with the beds. They see 10 beds and they saying, I can put 20 people. No. So that's the one thing that trips people up. Number of bedrooms plus, we're talking about the Placer County, plus 2. So let me give you an example. If you're a 4-bedroom, then you can only host 10 people. But the 10 people, depending on what the county decides of that 10 people 10 bodies can change your occupancy. So if you have 16 people and you have 6 people, 6 kids below 12, then it works. It works. Yeah. So that's number one thing that trips up the whole, people. Washoe County, body's a body. Yeah. Meaning that if you have 4 bedrooms, you can only have 10 bodies. They don't have any kind of children.
Your brand new infant's a body. Your brand new baby. Murat just had a baby.
Yes.
Second kid. So amazing. Okay, that all makes sense. And let's talk about South Lake Tahoe. So South Lake Tahoe caps permits and they don't transfer upon sale, right? El Dorado, you mentioned, is fully subscribed. We'll get back to that and what that means. Placer permits can convey upon sale. It sounds like most buyers have no idea. I'm a lender here in Tahoe. I don't have any idea about this.
And most buyers think that, I will get the permit immediately. I transfer the permit. No, the permit goes with the house. The permit goes with the owner, not with the house. So if the house transfers to somebody else, that new owner has to get a permit.
Right. Okay. And that's in every county, or is that?
Every county. Every county. Okay. There's not a single county in Tahoe that transfers the permits.
Yeah. And then where does TRPA come in all this? I know they've got, their coverage requirements, their best management practices, their deed restrictions, their, all of that. What is that? How does the app tell somebody about all of that?
Great question. So the app, the native app that we have, iOS app and Android app, the Real Estate Tahoe, gives you the tentative land coverage. What that means in terms of Tahoe has a TRPA, Tahoe Regional Planning Agency. If you have a 1 acre land, you cannot build a lot of things on that land because you have an allowable coverage that you can only build that much.
Correct.
So the app shows you if you're overbuilt or if you have enough to put another ADU.
Right. Okay. The app shows you that?
Yes.
That's cool. Because that's always a bit of a mystery.
Right?
Yeah.
In Tahoe, all the time people say, can I build something? We say, well, I don't know. We have to
Let me check. Yeah.
And you go to TRPA parcel unit info. And what we do is we build an ingestion system to get that into the user, to whoever is buying a home will be able to decide, hey, I have enough coverage. Of course, this is not 100%. I will, we'll go to TRPA and ask them again, but it gives you an idea. If it's a no-go, you know that there's nowhere to build.
Yeah. This is completely a joke, but it sounds to me like you've gotten so many questions about all this over the years. You're like, I'm just going to build an app to answer all of this.
It's 100%. 100%. The app is not built because I wanted to build an app. I know what your users are asking for. I built the app for that, technically. Right. It's not because, I want to do an app that's going to do these things. Yeah. Not only that, but a couple things that I will tell you. App gives you a tentative insurance quote.
That's cool.
Tentative insurance quote. So you don't have to, when you're crunching the numbers, then you don't have to think about, how much is this? How much is that? Can you give me? It's going to be a tentative, so you will at least know what your carrying costs are, and as well as the taxes, how much property taxes you have to pay.
How much does the app cost? Is it free? How much does it cost something?
$0.
$0. And you get it on the App Store?
Yeah, it's on the App Store,
for
Android and iOS, Real Estate Tahoe. Go check it out. You don't have to register until you're saving it. We don't want people to bounce off immediately. The one thing that I hated about the apps, without giving a value to the custer, hey, register.
Yeah, asking for value. Contact info.
Yeah, contact information.
Let us spam you.
Yeah, you didn't give me any value. Just at least give me a value. So we don't have any kind of registration or anything like that. You can search it 100%. You can look at everything. Rental projections, TRPA, cost seg. Oh, we didn't talk about that. We can talk about that. Cost segregation, all that stuff without free. The moment you try to save, then we have to ask you a registration, not because I want to, but that's how the computer works. I have to maintain a session. That's why I'm looking for something to maintain your session. It's not because
you have to tie that back to something personal.
Correct. Not because I want to spam you.
Yeah, let's get in the STR investor playbook.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about the STR investor playbook. We're going to talk about taxes, tax savings, insurance, compliance, all that. For someone who's new to this, if you haven't watched Murat's previous video, go back and watch that. It gives the full playbook on buying an STR, how to save on taxes, all that. But let's break it down. What is cost segregation in plain English? Why does it matter so much for a short-term rental?
So I think I want to a little bit go upper than that. So most people are realizing that the idea of there is only maybe one way to get a benefit tax deduction from your W-2, and that's with the STR, operating an STR. You can offset your passive income with active income with the passive, but it's not really passive in IRS terms. So when you operate in a short-term rental, it's considered active. It's called an active losses or active profit. So what happens is when you buy a short-term rental, and there's there's a lot of guides, and we're not CPAs, and we want to make sure that everybody knows these things. And if you operate the short-term rental 7 days, materialistic to participate 100 hours, and then 7 days or less, the average nightly rates, then what you can do to that short-term rental is you can cost segregate and bonus depreciate. What cost segregation means is instead of 27.5 years, you're front loading the depreciation to the first year. So every home has windows, floors, all that stuff. And that is going to be, instead of dividing that 27.5, then you just front load that. And when you do that, when you compound that with the bonus depreciation, which is 100% right now, you're getting a huge chunk of tax savings, tax deductions. Okay, and that's why it's important, cost segregation, because cost segregation is the main method to make sure that your house can either go high or low based on the material, based on the lot, based on the land, when you depreciate it.
Yeah. And I'm not a CPA, but so you've got your active income, which is your job. And then you've got, most investment properties are passive, and you can't write off passive
income.
You can't write passive expenses off against active income typically. So buying a short-term rental and materially participating at least 100 hours with nobody else participating more than you, with an average rental of 7 days or less, you can change it to active income and expense as well. And then doing the cost segregation study, it allows you to depreciate things quicker, which then front loads a bunch of the depreciation, which allows you to write that depreciation off against your active income. So this is a huge tax play. I still don't know why I haven't done it. It's probably because I'm an idiot, but it's okay.
I think you're not an idiot. You want to live in Hawaii.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. All right. So we just talked about cost segregation. What does the math actually look like when you calculate bonus depreciation or estimated bonus depreciation?
So these are all like their overall numbers. Okay. So I want to give you the why it's important, because proximity to the lake is important. If you buy on the Lakeshore Boulevard, I bet you $1 your property is not gonna appraise that much in terms of the county's record, right?
Well, it's because land, you can't bonus depreciate land, right?
Correct.
And so if you're buying in a place like Lakeshore, most of the value comes from the land,
so
not from
it's not depreciated.
The building.
Yes. So if you buy a $10 million home and that's like maybe $2 million, like they're going to say $8 million is land. So then it's not appreciable. But the IRS doesn't say, oh, you have to use exactly what the county records are, because most of these things, cost segregation companies pull from the county's records and saying that how much is the land, assess land value and assess property value. But you can do two other methods that you can do. You can do broker price opinion, BPO, or you can do appraisal report. Yeah,
we're in a deal right now, short-term rental in Reno. They're using the appraisal for the land value and the building value.
You can totally do that. No problem with that. Yeah. But IRS doesn't say, you have to show IRS a good way of doing math. And I do believe that IRS cares about the reasonableness.
Yeah, they want you to not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and a lot of the times the county, what I've seen is the county's land values are nowhere near correct. They're high land values, and then they're low building values.
So
which is,
the question that comes down to where you buy about the cost segregation, right? If it's close to the lake, then you're not going to get too much of your land, but you can offset that with broker price opinion. But aside from that, when you buy that and you have to put that into service that year, so you can write off against your W-2 income.
Okay.
And I don't know where we come to this question. What was
the question? The original question was, what does the math look like? So is it? I've heard it's typically 30% of the value.
That's
of the
correct.
property.
So let me come to the. So you go to of course in the real estate Tahoe we have this too. So the real estate Tahoe, we ingest data from all the counties, and we see the land value and we see the property value, and based on that we decide we calculate how much cost you can do, how much bonus depreciation.
That's cool. Has it been pretty accurate so far?
Yes, it was pretty accurate. I did and these are the things that I wouldn't, if I know that it's going to be too off, I wouldn't even code that, right? Yeah. And so the question that comes down to this, so I will tell you, so it's like 25 to 28% off of the value of the house. But again,
so if you buy $1 million house, you're talking $250,000 to $280,000 in expense write-off in year one.
That's correct.
That's
but let me tell you,
wild.
but that's after you take out the land value.
Correct.
Just want to make sure that
Yeah.
they understand this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay. And so, who qualifies for this treatment, and what does, material participation really
Material
look like?
participation means that it's 100 hours, and who qualifies, whoever has a W-2 income will be able to qualify if they buy a short-term rental and operate as a
You
short-term
can still write off against self-employment income too, right? Because it's all active.
That I don't know.
Yeah, we're not a CPA.
You're not a CPA.
Ask
I
your
don't want to
CPA.
say anything.
Ask your CPA.
Ask your CPA about this. But what you can do is you have to make sure that the average nightly rentable is 7 days or less. You have to rent for 7 days or less average.
Yep.
And then you have to make sure that you do 100 hours or more in materialistic participation, but given the fact that you have to do more than anybody else. So I did 110 hours and then my cleaner did 130.
Not going to work.
That's not going to work. I just want to make sure that. And then, you have to be, these are the basic math of these things, but pretty much those are how you qualify to do that.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about insurance real quick. Insurance is getting pretty difficult in Tahoe.
Correct.
What are you seeing on wildfire coverage, defensible space, short-term rental endorsements? What are you seeing for insurance in the short-term rental space?
So far, we didn't have any problems. But again, the prices are going up. But it's not like when some people are like still in 2023 when there was a fire and they think that the insurance is like $50,000. No, it's not. It's not. Let's be.
Yeah,
so,
it has calmed down a lot, especially with HOA insurance.
Yes. So what happened is like right now we are pulling the rates from CAL FIRE, which is the
FAIR plan.
Yes, the FAIR plan. So and in the app you can see that, oh, okay, I'm gonna pay this much.
Yeah.
This is that's how much you're gonna pay in terms of the and I didn't see any real estate deals not go through because we couldn't find an insurance. There will be always an insurance.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone can eventually get insurance. It's just how much will you pay for it?
Correct.
What are the insurance mistakes that void a policy on a short-term rental?
Oh, you have to make sure that you have a fire policy.
Okay.
So just so you know, Nevada passed a law saying that they're not requiring for this for like 3 years. I think they're not requiring to have the insurers to supply fire insurance. They can supply that as a supplemental. So when you're buying a home in Nevada, you have to make sure that you have a fire insurance.
Okay.
So, and the rest is pretty self-explanatory about the cost of building because the construction costs are high here, and you want to make sure that you're getting 1.7 of the total base value.
Okay. And then we've got all these other things compliance wise. You got transient occupancy tax, you got business licenses, annual renewals, defensible space inspections. There's all these things that you, being a short-term rental management owner, know about. When someone buys, what does the real compliance calendar look like for an owner who's just bought a short-term rental?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. So you have to pass a defensible space inspection before.
And is that done by the insurance company, or is that done by the local fire?
That's done by the CAL FIRE or CAL FIRE or
just the local fire.
No, CAL FIRE is not local, but they do CAL FIRE or North Tahoe Fire.
Got it. Okay.
So they have to clear your space, and that has to be done by the homeowner or the seller 6 months prior. They're going to accept those, but they will not.
Oh, it can go back. It can be retroactive 6 months. Okay.
So that's the number one thing. And then the number one thing that I would say, this is like, becoming, if there's an open permit in the Placer County or Washoe County, not the Washoe County, I don't know, but Placer County, if there's an open permit, you have to close that permit. We just have a deal not come through because there was an open permit, and it wasn't inspected. It wasn't done anything right. So what has to happen? We have to get out of the contract. So that's another story where you have to go to the county as a real estate agent or the buyer, make sure that, hey, is there any open, permits on this?
Got it.
whatever. Some of the permits can be open. You can close them very fast. I know that things get it, but if there's a really huge one, then you have to.
Oh, it just delayed everything.
Yes, it's
Got
going
it.
to delay everything.
Got
Or maybe when you buy it, you have to tear down everything to make sure that it's up to code.
Okay. I work with you a lot on the mortgage side. I'm a mortgage lender in Tahoe, Reno-Tahoe, Truckee area. That's where we specialize. I work with you quite a bit. You help clients fantastically. Walk us through what working with you looks like for an out-of-state buyer. I know there's quite a few people from out of state that want a short-term rental in Tahoe. Everyone loves Tahoe. Tell us what that looks like working with an out-of-state buyer.
Sure. So the number one thing out of state or out of local area buyers is I recommend them getting a local lender, because local lender makes the deal smooth or not smooth. I understand that there is a, like, you know, if you're working with, like, if you have a, like, you know, if you have enough capital to work with the
Private
Chase
banks.
or like, you know, Wells Fargo, they will give you better deals, which
Yeah.
I have no problem. But the problem is if you're competing through a deal and you're not with a local lender, they don't know who to call for appraisal. They don't know. And when it gets dragged, and then when you were writing an offer and somebody sees 6 weeks to close, then they say, no, then we're going to take somebody else. And this is what I say, working with a local lender is just like a lifesaver for me too. So I know what to expect. I don't have to, because after the deal closes, it's not just my responsibility. I'm tied with the lender and the title company.
That's what a lot of people don't realize, is that as I am a local lender, not only are we working for the client, I work for you too.
Correct.
I can't mess it up, because you'll never work with me again.
Absolutely.
And I want the client to be pleased, right?
Yes.
And so, but you're right. It's really hard for local lenders to beat private banking relationship pricing, because and I'll just break it down with how this works with banks. Banks, because they own the assets too,
Correct.
they know they're going to make money off the assets, so they're willing to take the mortgage at a loss in order to retain the assets. It's called a loss leader. It's a classic move. It's a great, very smart move for the banks. It's hard as a non-bank lender to compete with that, but as far as pricing goes compared to the rest of the market, we're extremely competitive.
Correct.
So it's not like you're getting a worse rate. You're just not getting a below market or a very far below market rate, because we're not a private bank. It's still going to be a great rate. It's just not, you know.
And I would say this, you know, in working with the local lender makes it very easy for me.
Yep.
Because I know we have been working for long enough that he doesn't want to, you know, mess up the deal, and we want to close on time. We want to remove the contingencies on time. That's how I see that in terms of the local lender, you know, participation.
And how that benefits a buyer. We are here as a local lender. We're here to protect your earnest money. If we don't hit those contingency deadlines, you have to either extend it. Well, let's say you have to extend the contingency deadlines. Guess what? That removes all your negotiating power. Yes. You want to go ask for a credit from the seller because something happened over here with the inspection. Guess what? They're going to say, well, what about you remove your contingencies? Where you're going to say, well, I don't know, the loan's still not approved, so I don't want to do that. Okay, well, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. But then also, let's say you do remove your contingencies and you're not clear to close, you're putting your earnest money at risk, which sometimes on, you know, very valuable properties, that can be tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. So,
so work with a local lender. Shay.
Appreciate that. What else? What else does working with an out-of-state buyer look like? How does that work on your end?
It's tough because they cannot be here. Okay,
Right.
when the good homes come to the market, either I have to FaceTime and then we lost the deal, and it's very tough. Even though it's a second market, I think there are some homes that go fast in the market if they're good homes.
Yeah,
and
if they're priced well too.
Priced well and good for short-term rentals,
Yeah.
right? Like the layout is right. There's a garage. There is, like, you know, the location is great. So that's the number one thing that we are having a problem in. And as you know, sometimes you cannot do FaceTime, right? And what happens is, like, you know, you just take a video and it just
Takes too long.
Takes too long to figure it out.
The good deals do go quick.
Yeah.
The good properties go quick. How much more is a property worth when the permit and the revenue history and all that, you know, all of the proof of success for that property is all there and it all transfers cleanly? How much more would it be worth compared to a property where it's not?
I don't want to give a number, but I want to explain to you in terms of the hypotheticals, right? Let's say 2 homes and one of them is a short-term rental and the other one is not. They're in the same place. Okay. So if I can show to the buyer that this home cash flow, I bet you $1, that home will sell fast and sell for more.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So where does this how it cash flow more? Meaning that if the seller is willing to transfer all the Airbnb, the data accounts, right? You're getting a fresh, instead of a fresh, like a zero.
It's review. A business that's been in business for multiple years instead of just brand new.
Correct. And that's why it's important, because your ratings as an Airbnb on the Airbnb or VRBO is a huge domain that nobody has seen before. And I do believe that that's why the premise of those, AirDNA or Rabu are trying to sell off-market short-term rentals, because they see that as a business. That's why this is becoming more and more lucrative. If you find a cash flow positive, a vacation rental, you would be able to buy that with no problem, because you know the history, you know everything, you know the ratings, the cleaners are dialed in, the handyman is dialed in.
It's a business that's ready to go.
Yeah, local contact is dialed in. Then what you need to do is just don't mess up anything, just run as the business, and maybe add more revenue to this. Make a website for the direct bookings, or maybe open to different, Marriott hotels, all those. Maybe integrate with the PMSs so you can make sure that the funnel is bigger. But these are the things that I would say. When you're selling or buying a short-term rental, you're not buying only a home or selling a home. You're selling the first and foremost a business.
Right.
A business.
Let's talk about your short-term rental management company owner. Can somebody use your management company without listing with you, or vice versa? I assume
they
so.
They shouldn't. But the reason I say that is, in order to hit the short-term rental regulations, you have 100 hours materialistic participation. Yeah. So if I do manage the home, I'm sure I will be doing more than you.
Yeah.
Especially in the first year.
Yeah.
In the second year, since once you get bonus depreciation, you reduce your taxes. The second year, you might be able to give it to me, but again, you're not going to get the deduction. Deduction is not that big of a deal, because now you're going to the regular 27.5 years of a deduction second year. So it's not that bad, but it's up to the owner who would like to, if they want to switch after the second year, or if they say, you know what, I'm okay with from the first year, I will get the regular depreciation.
Cool. Okay. Let's talk about the brokerage. How's it going? How's it been so far?
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's very tough.
What surprised you the most about starting a brokerage of your own?
I knew the paperwork was a lot, but I didn't know the paperwork was this a lot.
Really?
Everything's the paperwork. Everything. I have to write a compliance engine. What's it called? There is another compliance engine they write, and they charge some good money. I have to write the compliance engine, meaning that every document that has been signed by the buyer or the seller has to be in your software, in your database.
Somewhere it can be found.
Somewhere it can be found. So for me to get it right, we have to do a lot of back-end work.
Oh, I'm sure.
That is the number one shocker to me. I didn't know that this would take a long time to write the compliance engine.
Got it. Okay. So that's been the hardest part. What's been the response from clients who already knew you as the management guy? How's it been working with them in this new fashion?
Great. So they kind of see this was coming, especially the short-term rental owners that I manage their properties. So they were coming. This is the idea of full service. In the management company, we do so full service. What that means is we have the cleaning company, we have the hot tub cleaning company, we have the snow plowing company, and the management company. We vertically integrate that, right? Yeah. So that's our niche. And then here is the same thing. We did horizontally integration here.
Yeah.
Right? And we manage, we buy, and we sell.
It makes perfect sense to me. And I know, let's transition to the agent side of it. I know you're actively looking for more agents to onboard at Real Estate Tahoe. Who are you looking for? Who's a good fit?
Good fit is who is a hustler and wants to make a real estate their, their main lifestyle.
You're looking for a pro.
Lifestyle,
Yeah.
meaning real estate is not a job. It's a lifestyle. This is what I understand.
What do you mean by that?
But you have to drop if somebody's closing tomorrow, you have to drop everything at 9 p.m. and you have to answer that phone.
Yeah.
You have to answer that email. So the people job finishes.
You don't check out at 5.
No.
Yeah.
No. And what I'm saying is like hustlers and all that, and who appreciates technology, because I hate it when I have to go 10 different softwares.
Yeah.
And the third is who loves to be treated equally and appreciated by the brokerage, if it makes sense. We do not want to nickel and dime. Split is a split. There's no other fee.
What would an agent get at Real Estate Tahoe that they wouldn't get at, let's say, a big box brokerage?
Well, I mean,
but I know you mentioned the split.
Yeah, the split, and our tech is much better than anything that's in the plot in the like.
So it just streamlines the processes for the agent.
Correct.
Okay.
For me, it's the agent. Like, you want to do marketing? Here. You want to write an offer? Here. You want to send that offer? Here. You don't have to go out of your, you don't have to go to even your email. That is, I know this, and I want to say this, we're better than the Compass in terms of technology.
All right. I like that. All right. So new agent onboards, what kind of training do they get and support from the back end?
So we have Christina Madsen, who used to be managing the Chaser National 3 branches. So she gives the everything related to real estate. What I do with the new agents is the technology part. I show them how to use the software, and I show them how to do, if they want to do advertising, Google ads, in the Facebook ads, Instagram ads. We want to make sure that whoever comes to the Real Estate Tahoe learns something.
Yeah.
Learns and takes them with them.
A new skill.
Yeah. Right? I don't want anybody to say, look, I didn't get anything from this brokerage. I want the people to learn, and the number one thing that I can promise is the fact that the technology part, marketing, all those automations will not go anywhere. And if you just learn that, even you leave us, then you will have that skill to yourself.
Yeah. If someone's a good agent, but they don't know about short-term rentals, can you teach them? Are you going to teach them that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I believe that the more knowledge we share, we're better off.
Hey, I like that. It's not a zero-sum game.
Yes.
Everybody can grow. How does someone wants to join? How does someone start a conversation about it?
Call Christina. Text Christina.
Call Christina. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, go to our website and just say, hey, send an email, send them, hey, I would like to join. What do you guys have for me?
RealEstateTahoe.com. Let's talk about where do you see the Tahoe short-term rental market going over the next 3 to 5 years, given where regulation is? And I've got a question for you I want to ask you after you answer this.
Yeah. So I think in terms of this regulations are strictly changing. As you know, Salt Lake Tahoe just repealed the ban, and then now they put a 900 with the buffer. Now the buffer is gone, only 900 left, right? So, and we can talk about this. I think the regulations are good, because if you go by where there's no regulations in the market, then at some point when the people say, okay, this is not right, the locals will say it's not right, then you have to have other regulations and you're going to get banned from that. That's like my hunch in that regard. I would rather buy in a place where the regulations are set already.
Yeah.
Versus non-regulated,
the mature.
When in the non-regulatory landscape, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then where it's going with this, I don't believe that there will be some changes in terms of the El Dorado County is capped, Talmadge Truckee is capped. There's like 1 year grace period, plus then there's a wait list. Placer County is still 3,500 permits. I don't think that's gonna go too fast, because of the fact that even though we're getting more short-term rental buyers, I think there is the people are selling their short-term rentals too. So I don't think it's going to fill up quickly. Washoe County doesn't have any permit problems, and that's I think that it's going to be a healthy market.
Okay, and that's what I was going to ask you. So with this tax play that's in that's been here since the Big Beautiful Bill came out, where the bonus depreciation is, I mean, it's such a strong tax play. Have you seen an uptick in short-term rental purchases?
There is an uptick from the increase, but when people realizes that, oh, you cannot cash flow here. Yes. You
Okay,
cannot.
so do you think the lack of cash flow was already in play before the Big Beautiful Bill brought in the tax savings?
Yes.
And the reason I ask that is because in my mind, because of the tax savings, it makes sense that there would be more people buying short-term rentals. But when more people buy short-term rentals, there's more supply, which then if the demand stays the same,
Correct.
then it would essentially bring down the revenue numbers for all short-term rentals.
That's 100% right.
So
That's
are you
100%.
seeing that?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
So what's going to end up happening is, so this is again, when you buy a short-term rental, you're going into a hospitality business.
Yeah.
I just want people to understand that. And the good operators will make more money.
Yeah. The good operators are going to be the good operators.
Good operators. But if you're listing and you have a 4.1, 4.3 rating reviews, you will go slowly, bleed, and then you will have to sell the property. So to answer your question is yes, if you're a good operator, you will not have any problems. But I see the uptick in inquiries that I want to buy a house in Tahoe and I want to cash flow. I say, it's not going to cash flow. I will tell
you buy
all my
all
buyers.
cash.
Yeah, that's true. If you buy,
Don't do that. You should get a mortgage.
yeah, that's true. Get a mortgage from Shane. So I tell people three things. Number one, you like Tahoe. If you're buying a short-term rental in Tahoe as a second home, whatever that thing is, you love Tahoe. You're close to Tahoe, Bay Area or somewhere, and you want to do cost segregation. You want to eliminate your taxes a little bit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if this goes, I don't love Tahoe, but I want to write off my tax and I will never come here, but I will lose money. That's not a reasonable.
Yeah. That's not a very strong reason to do it.
And the catch is, as you said before, the catch is the cost seg and bonus depreciation, not the will I make a revenue?
Right. That should be the focus. And that's what I was going to say. Once you factor the cost segregation and bonus depreciation savings in, at that point, it does end up cash flowing for your personal finances. It should.
We're not a CPA, but yes.
Right. Even though let's say you're losing, let's say your monthly payment on a mortgage is $8,000 a month. And let's say you're only making $5,000. So you're losing $3,000 a month. Once you factor in the cost segregation in the city, let's say, to have an $8,000 a month mortgage, you're going to buy $1 million property. Let's say that. Let's say you're saving $250,000 in taxes. I mean, then that does pencil. That does make sense, right?
Correct. And on the top, you're going to come to Tahoe. If you're coming here like maybe, 4 times a year, you're going to rent an Airbnb or a hotel, right? Yeah. And instead of that, you can use that as your basis to say, okay, I like Tahoe, I will go there.
Right. Yeah, you're saving money not having to rent elsewhere.
That's correct.
Yeah. All right. So over the next 5 years, do you see the rental market getting more saturated?
More saturated.
Yeah.
More saturated. The bad operators will leave. The good operators will replace them. I think it's going to be a churn, and eventually when we hit the Placer County or the county limits, unit limits, you will see that the people who are not operating right will lose money, and eventually they will sell their home.
Yeah. All right. Well, with rates where they're at now, is now the time to buy a short-term rental?
That's the $1 million question, right? Is it the right to buy? I mean, for me, I tell everything. If you're gonna keep this home for more than 15 years,
it's never a bad time.
It's never a bad time. But if you're looking for like 2 year, 1 year, like quick cash, then don't buy. Yeah. The rates are high a little bit right now as of July 29th, right? As you know, okay. And Fed decided to not hike the rates today, and hopefully at some point they're gonna bring it down. But it's just like, as I said before, there's no right or wrong based on the personal choice, right? Is it the time? Yes. If you are, let me give you an example. If you make $5 million in RSU money, right, and then what are you going to do? You have to give your, you want to give your, as a tax to the government, or you want to buy a short-term rental?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all completely personalized based on your situation. All right. So yeah, if someone watching this wants to check their property jurisdiction, or they want to buy, or they want to sell, or they're an agent, they want to join the team, what's the first step? How can they reach you?
So I think the first step is go to realestatetahoe.com.
That's where everything lives.
That's everything where it lives. I didn't want to build a software that's not going to be here and there and here and there. That's what the niche of the software is I wanted to put everything together. So, and that's the number one thing. Go to Real Estate Tahoe, check out couple homes, check out different jurisdictions, look at the, click on the county lines, and then on the website, and then you will see that, oh, okay, there's some things. Then you go into those things, it's going to give you a gross revenue rental projections, and then you will be able to see if it's a jurisdiction that you can do short-term rental permits. And you will be able to see everything in terms of the insurance, TRPA laws, and everything. You will even see how much you're going to make, how much you're going to save with the cost segregation. Of course, these are all gross revenue, all gross, it's estimates, but it will give you a good idea of to personalize to your own budget, if it makes sense. So if an agent wants to join us, realestatetahoe.com/join, we will welcome. My phone is open. Christina's phone is open. Send us a text. And you don't have to join us, maybe. You just come and talk to us and see what we offer. It's not about, I always say this, just talk to as much as people you can so you can understand what the market looks like. Yeah. And I do believe that in 5 to 10 years, real estate market will change drastically. Mm-hmm. I do believe that. The good operators will stay. The bad will say, you know what, I'm only doing one deal a year, and I'm paying, almost the deal, the money that I pay to all the brokerage, and plus I'm paying to all the MLSs. Why would I do that?
Yeah. Murat, thank you again. It's always a pleasure. I appreciate it. If anybody wants to work with Murat, realestatetahoe.com, that's the place to go. Short-term rental expert, vacation management, short-term rental management expert. Murat, thank you again.
Thank you. And just to be adding one last thing, we're opening up a Middle Eastern.
That's right. I forgot that.
You want to say that?
Yeah, go ahead and talk about that.
We're opening up a Middle Eastern Mediterranean restaurant right across Hyatt Regency. It's going to be
in Incline Village.
Incline Village, Nevada, right across Hyatt Regency. The opening will be 2026 fall, and we would like everybody to come there and try our food. It's going to be more like a gyros, shawarmas, taboulihs, and baba ganoush and all that stuff. And we would love people enjoy and make that a community, and would like to welcome anybody. No seed oils, all fresh ingredients.
You're speaking to my heart. I've been waiting for a healthy lunch option. There's some that have come and gone over the years, but yeah, I'm excited for this. Fall of 2026, correct? Across from the Hyatt Regency.
The name of the restaurant is Carved Roots, and you can follow us, Carved Roots Kitchen, or carvedrootskitchen.com. If you want to be on our mailing list, we're more than happy to, and we will have some, soft openings where we will invite people in inclines to make sure that, we know what we're selling and to understand the market a little bit more.
Perfect. Carved Roots, across from the Hyatt Incline Village, fall 2026. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.